spent years telling my clients to stop rushing the process. Yet, I've actually found myself doing the exact same thing in every aspect of my life. Training, business, content, money. When I realised there's something that can improve and it's not improving quickly enough, my head reverts straight into, what can I do to speed up this process? What more can I do? What thing can I buy? That's where my brain always reverts to in an attempt to try and rush the process. And I've actually started to realise that that may be the thing that's actually slowing me down. Me aiming to force progress and aiming to speed things up is probably the reason that's holding me back. It's actually funny because for years I spent so long on physique development and working on building more muscle, going through certain phases of losing fat, building tissue, prep. Everything was all about time, patience and consistency. Doing the boring things, the monotonous things, over and over and over again in an attempt to make progress. Yet what I'm finding myself doing right now in every aspect of my life is Ironman training. I'm burning out from aiming to do more than I should, doing more time on the bike, going harder in my runs than I should. I'm aiming to do more to speed up the process of growth within that area of my life. The same thing kind of correlates to my business. More recently, openly, honest, my business growth has been slower over the past couple of months, past 2 months. And that for me, although it happens to every single coach, every single person within this industry, around the summertime, it tends to slow down a bit. My brain automatically resorts to fight or flight. What new thing do I need? What am I doing wrong? What could I change? When sometimes it's taking a step back and reflecting and looking at things from an outsider's perspective and realizing there isn't actually anything that needs to change. It may just be a case of execution needs to improve. And this is the thought process that I haven't had. It's the discomfort that I don't like. It's that feeling of what's going to happen if I don't do this? If I don't do more, am I going to fall behind? What happens if I don't change this thing? Surely if I start doing X, Y, and Z, my progress within this aspect of my life is going to speed up and I'm going to start helping more people here. I'm going to be able to get to Ironman and exceed the sort of time that I even think I'm going to be able to get. That's my assumption from doing more, which puts my brain into a bit of an overdrive and then leads me to inevitably doing less. One thing that my brain tends to do when discomfort kicks in is look for something to relieve that discomfort. So, for example, the Ironman training, my Apple Watch, I know that a Garmin's better. I was looking at Garmin's the other day. The old me would then go, maybe I need a Garmin to improve my performance. Why don't I get a Garmin? Why don't I waste money and get a Garmin? When the Apple Watch can do the exact same thing, it might not be as good, but it works. And it does the job. It's not the tools that you're using, it's the way that you're applying yourself and the way that you're applying the current tools that you have access to. For me, I've got all the tools in the world. I've got the Apple Watch, I've got the running shoes, I've got the indoor bike, I've got the indoor trainer, I've got the swimming membership for a gym that I go to. All the tools that I needed there. Anything else to try and optimize things is just a waste of money and another form of essentially procrastination. The same with business. How do I try and relieve myself when discomfort kicks in, when business inquiries slow down, coaching inquiries slow down? I'm experiencing a few drop-offs within business, but I've got no one coming in. What's going to happen? Am I going to fail? That's how my brain has been working. And I've been doing this for the longest amount of time to know that these peaks and troughs happen. But still, my brain, reverts to fight or flight. Shit, I've got to do something now. We need to do something different. We've got to do something more. Let me just launch a program. And I should do that more than what I do, but it's what some people do in the rush it. And rather than taking the time to promote it, to market it well, and then launch a program, they rush it. And that's what I don't want to do this time compared to what I've done in the past. All my life, I have struggled with not feeling worthy, not feeling good enough. And it's only really been since I've been a coach, PT, whatever you want to call me, and I've helped people, and I've bodybuilded, and I've stepped on stage, and I've done some hard shit, that I've started to believe in myself a little bit more. Well, a lot more. But there's still something in my mind that reverts back to the time when I didn't feel that way. There's still something that reverts back to the time when I didn't believe in myself, when I had doubts, and still to this day, my brain reverts back to that. You're not worthy. You're not going to be able to achieve this thing. People don't want to work with you for whatever reason. That's how my brain works. And I have to provide myself with evidence. And over the past 5.5 years, whilst I've been a personal trainer, coaching online, my goal has been to provide my brain with as much evidence as possible that I can do this thing. And that's why now when it starts to revert back into old habits and thinking patterns and behaviors, I remind myself that I've got this truckload of evidence here to support the future. When I was running myself into the ground with the Ironman training, I realized those previous habits were kicking back in because I weren't thinking properly. I was panicking because I weren't able to put in the right amount of effort with the business because I was just not able to think clearly. I weren't able to create content as well or as much as I'd like to because my creativity wasn't there. And that all come down to rushing the process of this Ironman training and trying to do more than I needed to, rather than being more calculated. And it's that calculation and that calculated behavior that you need not reactive. The real issue with lack of progress isn't tools, it's not information, like most of you lot watching this. If you want to get in shape, you probably have the information out there. You probably have the tools. You've got a gym membership. You've got an idea of what protein, carbs and fats are. You understand calories. You understand that you need to be in a calorie deficit. Yet it's execution and doing the boring thing repetitively, making it monotonous and a repeated behavior. That's what most people aren't doing. It's not tools, it's not information, it's execution. And that's the exact thing that I've been experiencing myself. It's poor execution. Trying to progress faster than you can by doing more doesn't lead to faster progress. It just leads to procrastination and spending more time, if anything, taking steps backwards than taking any steps forwards. The problem is, every time that I feel uncomfortable, every time that I feel a bit of discomfort, when I think things could be better, when I think I could have improved faster, the one thing that I tend to do is try to change something, try to do more, rather than repeating the same thing that was working in the past and doing the boring thing for longer. Because I've spent years helping people with this exact same issue. Wanting to lose weight, the reason why they can't lose weight is because they try and rush the process and do it too fast. So weight limit move for 3 days, start lowering calories, do more cardio, do more steps, go a bit too aggressive, fall off, cave, fall off the bandwagon. They stop making progress because they've just done a little bit too much too soon. Or maybe someone who wants to build muscle doesn't realize how long it takes. So changes up programs every couple of weeks, eats more food than they need to, too early on. And as someone who coaches people and sees their behaviors, in my head I'm thinking, you've just got to be fucking patient and wait. Look at the basic things that's working right now that you're doing. Look at the progress you've made from the start to now. Trying to rush any process is the easiest way to land flat on your fucking face. I just chase dopamine. I chase new shit. I chase, oh, I must be doing something right if I change this thing. I must be going into new territories if I start doing more of this. I'm getting better faster because I've now started doing a bit more of this thing. That's what I've realized. It's chasing that dopamine. And when I've reflected on that, I've thought about me coaching, how long I've been doing this, and how I've gone from a PT on the gym floor to now predominantly being online. It took fucking ages. From the point of me training, when I first started training from 15 up until about 21, realizing I weren't making much progress, then started to speed up that, improve my execution in certain areas with food and training and cardio, those aspects, and setting out timelines properly. Then getting from that point to then getting on stage and then competing 2 years in a row and making progress that way. It took fucking ages. Everything that I've done and actually realized done well, it's just taken a while. And it required me doing the same shit repeatedly over and over again, despite how boring it might seem and monotonous it might seem, but it took time. I look back because bodybuilding is my identification of what it takes to do something and achieve it when you give yourself time and you put in the right amount of effort with the basic shit. I ate the food, I stuck to the phase that I was sticking to at the time, whether that was in a calorie surplus or in a deficit or in a prep setting. I stuck to what needed to be done. It weren't one singular training program, it weren't one singular diet that I followed, it was just doing the basic shit consistently, doing the right thing consistently, repeating that behavior. I think the problem that I always have had is wanting to feel like I'm exactly where I want to be and where I need to be without experiencing the time it takes to get there. Because that's the uncomfortable thing. The time it takes to get somewhere, fucking long. To do anything like change your physique, to build a business, to build a social media platform, it takes time and effort. And to go over what I'm working on now actively, I'm actively trying to learn how to be someone who's better at endurance sports. Running, swimming, cycling. I'm trying to get better at that. Learning that I don't always need to do more and not every session needs to be harder or better. That is something that I'm actively learning. I also know that to be a better content creator, I don't always need better gear. I don't always need the fanciest equipment. I just need to understand that I've got to capitalize on the tools that I've already got. I'm actually in the process of restructuring my business and content and making sure that I have got some sort of organization through the week with what I post, when I post, and from a business standpoint, actually keeping track of numbers, treating my business like a fucking business rather than just me working with people to help them get in shape, which is essentially what I'm doing. But I need to be more organized. I need to treat my business like an actual business and not just something that I do on the fucking side when it's not. It's my full-time gig. And I want to improve my life financially. I want to become financially free without accumulating more debt. All my adult life, I've struggled with debt and being in debt. It's only got better as I've got older because I've realized how to manage my money better. But something that I'm still doing now is paying things off. I'm in a much better place than where I was 4 years ago, 5 years ago, but it's still something that I'd like to completely clear and be debt-free or as little debt as possible. Now, for me, imagine me just executing some of the basic things consistently over the next 2 years. The problem I have is worrying about the future, worrying about what's to come next, worrying about what if this doesn't happen? What if things change like this? What if I lose everybody tomorrow? What if I get injured? Worried about all the things that are outside of my control rather than being present and thinking about what I can do and how I can get moving forwards today. I've spent a lot of time in my life trying to make progress faster, pushing the process, further than I need to, and doing things that aren't necessarily going to be beneficial to me at the time. Like when I was taking performance enhancing drugs at that point in time, I weren't even doing the basics right, I weren't training right, I weren't eating right, and the performance enhancing drugs actually didn't start working properly until I started doing the basic things well. I've spent enough time in my life trying to rush things and take the easy route. Maybe for a while I just stop trying to interfere with things and see what happens when I do the boring shit daily again, from a business standpoint and also from an endurance standpoint as well for this Ironman. What will happen? Maybe it's all going to work out. Who knows?